We're already bickering.
We're already fucking recording
Stop
now.
it.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're bickering.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, I'm back, and this is going to be more of a fun episode. Eric's going to ask me some questions. This is my friend Eric, and I used to work with him at the thrift store, and he's a great guy. He's my, I don't know, just a good pal to hang out with.
I say friend or
yeah, friend from work. You know, just we worked together and we got along. He was a trainer for me when I first started at the thrift store, and we worked together as a team later on very well together. So he's got some great stories. I got some great stories, but he's probably going to pry some of my stories out of me, and we're going to let him have fun, and we're going to just do what we can here. So this is less about my alcoholism, less about my homelessness, but some of those stories are going to be coming out, I bet. So, let's go.
All right. So, tell me about your jacket. That's the thing I was wondering about.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Turn your phone off.
Oh, well.
We're doing something here.
Sorry.
Okay. Jeez. Come on.
Sorry.
That's how we are.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this jacket, and I was going to say something in my videos about this jacket, and in case anyone tried to say I was doing some sort of stolen valor or some sort of tying my homelessness to a military jacket, a veteran tie. I never wore this jacket. I did not own it when I was homeless. And I wear this jacket now. This is a tribute to my father, Harold, who served in the Army, in Airborne, in Germany in the early 50s, 53, 54, 55. And he had always wanted a jacket, a field jacket that he had when he was in the service. He asked me for years if I could find one, and I finally found one. This is not it. I finally found a real one, and I hunted down all the patches. The 383rd Airborne Brigade. He was in quartermaster supply in the C-119 flying boxcars. He kicked the cargo out of the back and then jumped out after it. That's what he did in Airborne. So thankfully he was never in Korea in 53. He went straight to Germany. So I had got him a jacket and got the old U.S. Army name tape, the Airborne wings. Actually, he said when he was in the service had his corporal stripes on the sleeves, which is not common. That was a decision by unit with their field jackets to put rank on. So I ended up hunting down the Korean War vintage rank patches, and my dad loved the jacket, loved it to death. While he was still alive, he would wear it to church. He would wear it out to breakfast. He would wear it out wherever he went, and he loved to talk to the old timers, the veterans that come from that era that recognized that the jacket was accurate and put together properly, and they believed it was original for him. So, and my father had passed away on September 11th, 2017 while I was in jail because of my DUIs. 6-month stretch that time that would not let me out of jail, furlough or anything, for my father's cancer and then his passing, nothing. But again, I was paying my price for what I had done to violate society's rules. Anyways, so I eventually, when I was working and making money, had decided I was going to put this jacket together as a tribute to my father. It's accurate with his unit's Airborne patch, which is a one-piece patch for Airborne guys. It's not a banner on top of a second patch. And then the accurate U.S. Army name tape and the accurate Airborne wings. And from Moore's Military in Texas, I had this name tape made that's accurate, white with black letters. Anyways, that's the story of this jacket. And when I wear it, it means a lot to me. It's a very, very well-made replica of the 1951 jacket, and I can always have it as a memory of my father. So,
are you gonna put more jackets, more patches on there?
I will not put any more patches on this because it's the only thing I would do is the corporal patches. I should say that, but I would not add any unit patches or anything because my dad did not serve in combat, so we would not have a patch on the right sleeve. It's accurate for what would be appropriate for someone to wear in their unit at the time.
Well, I was wondering. Okay, that's pretty fucking good.
And I love this jacket. It's comfortable, and I think it's fashionable, yet sensible too, and at a sharp price. So that's my jacket.
A regular large.
It's a large. I got it when I was a little bit heavier, when I still had my weight on, and then now it fits just properly. It was a little too tight for me, but now I love it.
Oh, looks sharp.
Thank you.
Damn.
So what else you want to know about?
There's a lot.
There is quite a lot.
Okay. Okay, on the streets. Life on the streets.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot
Did
about
you
that.
did you ever have like a road dog?
An animal?
No, like a road dog, like somebody like me and you
Oh,
walking.
I mean, I had Buddy, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like my campmate, you know.
Yeah.
I had Victor, and he's the one I discussed earlier in my first video. Victor, he passed away of a stroke. He went in the hospital, never came out. At least he didn't die there at the
What's the
campsite.
craziest thing you guys did?
Craziest thing we did? Well, it wasn't crazy, but we used to sit at the corner and fly a sign together, and we would throw fireball shot bottles out
What the?
into traffic to see whose bottle would get hit first by the car passing by.
You guys betting?
We would usually bet shots. You know, who wouldn't I go buy shots? You know,
Yeah.
if I got more fireball bottles hit by traffic than you got, and then if I got maybe an earthquake can out there too, and got it flattened, yeah. So that was fun stuff. We didn't do crazy stuff, you know.
It's actually pretty. It is pretty fun if you just say it on the street. Oh yeah, I can see you pass time with that.
Now Richard and I used to have fun. I mean, we did the same thing. And one time we did it so bad at this one corner, you know, there's a triangle of concrete, there's the turn lane and the straight. Well, we had so many damn fireball bottles that had been dragged up by traffic, and it looked like someone three 12 packs or 15 packs, or sorry, 10 packs is what they came in. 10 packs of them out there scattered everywhere. The cop pulls up and says, "You know, you boys are going to have to clean all that up." And we said, "We'll do it." So we half-ass cleaned it.
Half-ass.
Because he
What you guys
couldn't-
do? Just kick all that shit off the side of the
No,
road?
we cleaned it all up, you know. But you can't get everything, you know.
Yeah, stop. Did you stop traffic?
Oh yeah, yeah. Stops
Damn.
traffic.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't that crazy, but that was fun stuff we did when we were bored and we were trying to make money and trying to get drunk. You know,
Understandable. Understandable.
the funnest sign
Yeah.
and the very first sign I ever flew, because I had gone for, I want to say 2.5 years, and people had told me I should fly a sign, and I was spanging at the gas stations. You know, I wasn't really doing that roving through Walmart parking lots asking everyone you see with a shopping cart coming out. Like,
Yeah.
I know some people, but you know, and there's people that are very aggressive about it, you know,
Yeah,
will
very.
come right up to people.
Yes.
And I've had those people get me kicked off of properties because,
Have anybody done that to you lately like that?
not lately.
I mean, when you went up to Walmart or something,
Oh, no.
like when you were working at Red Rack and stuff.
No, so let me finish telling the story. If you want to ask about someone that was rude as hell to me when I was flying a sign,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
this bitch was rude as hell, and that was up on Glenstone, but that's another story. So, so yeah, you can get me off track on.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, so finally, everyone's telling me, you know, and I tried it once in Joplin. So it wasn't the very first time I flew a sign. I flew one sign in Joplin when I was there, and I found out later on through my experience and learning flying a sign, it was a terrible intersection. It was a terrible sign, and it was all bad all around. And I didn't sit out there more than half an hour, which everyone says when you fly a sign, you have to be patient, which is true. You can sit there for 45 minutes and not make a dime, and then all of a sudden make a 20 and a 5 and a handful of ones and a bunch of change,
You
you
have
know,
to make
and
a
then
lap.
someone will hand you a gift card to go get yourself dinner. You know,
So what's your first sign say?
my very first sign in Springfield, Missouri. I was down at the corner of Golden and Republic Road where it converts to Farm Road 135, right in that Casey's gas station across the street. I was on the corner of the Family Video right there, which I used to sleep behind. And yeah, that's one of the places the cops tackled me behind because I was trespassing. But anyways, that's another story. So, so I fly this sign. I said, I'm gonna be damn honest. I paid attention to some signs I'd seen, and so I'm figuring I want to get drunk,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the number one thing, and I don't have any money. So I managed to go to the dumpster and drag out a piece of cardboard, and I found a marker somewhere, and I made a sign that says "Not lying, need beer."
Oh,
And-
wow. That's what
and
that's the best
all
thing to do.
The sign said.
Just say it.
So when you're honest, and I found out after flying a sign that you can have a sign that says "Need
Wow.
money for tobacco research." You're gonna make money.
Yeah.
But so I'm flying this sign. It's a Friday night, and my very first sign, I'm standing on that corner down there.
Yeah.
Same corner where later the cop told me to pick up all the fireball bottles. That was a different time. But so I'm standing out there, and people are loving it, man. People are taking my picture, and then people are going to the gas station asking what kind of beer I like, man. They're like, bring me a 6-pack back of Heineken.
Oh yeah.
And then someone brought me Amstel Light, and then I had, by the time I was done that night, and I was only there for about 2.5 hours,
How many cases of beer?
I had about 6.5 cases worth of beer,
God.
3 bottles of vodka, like 4, maybe 5 packs of cigarettes, I can't remember. And the funny thing is, I was drunk by then because I was drinking up to the point to get the confidence. Because I'll take a little side note here. Flying a sign and spanging for money is something that requires great humility. You have to humble yourself, and you have to have very little self-respect to do it, because you have to make that money to survive. You will do anything to make that money, whether it's to feed your addiction or to feed your stomach. So I got this sign, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not lying, I need beer. And so every time someone was giving me, like, they give me a 12-pack of beer, I had bushes off like 15 feet away, and I was stashing them in the bushes, but I'd chug one down real quick, or I'd have a shot real quick. Someone's giving me shots, people, they have them in their truck, or after work, it's Friday night, Everyone's having a good time.
Everybody got paid.
It was getting darker. It wasn't dark yet, but it was getting to that time. They were all heading out, go have fun. So yeah. So I'm doing great, man, and people are loving it. Someone did drive up and say, "You're a terrible person." And I was like, fine, I've been called way friggin' worse than that. Just don't ever call me a chomo.
Yeah, fuck no.
Forgot about that the other day. Don't ever even suggest I'm a freaking chomo.
No, he's a good guy.
Think I'm a child molester, then that's words right there. So that's my only thing in life. Call me whatever the hell you want. Don't talk about mom. Don't talk about mom. So so where's I going with this? So I'm standing out there, I'm feeling great, man, and I got all this stuff, and I had like $67, I think I counted, because I was amazed. I remember that number. I counted, and I was out 2.5 hours, right? Got all this stuff, and I'm looking, and I'm paying attention, and I see this person walking down the sidewalk, but I'm smiling, people are honking, and I look, and this guy walks up, and it's a cop, it's a sheriff, and he parked up by Family Video and Little Caesars, and so he comes up and he's like this. He's like, "What are you doing?" Smiling, like shaking his head. "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not lying." I held my sign up, said, "I'm not lying. I need beer." He goes, "You can't do that here, man. You got to go." And I said, "I don't have a problem with that at all, man." I said, "I'm out of here." And I grabbed my sign, and he's smiling. He saw me hustle over to get my alcohol. And then it took me like 3 trips or 4 trips to get it all hidden behind Family Video where I was sleeping. I slept behind that joint for like 4 months almost before someone even realized it was there, that I was sleeping back there.
How did they find out you were there?
Because every once in a while the landscapers would mow, because I spent the whole winter there, because of the air conditioning, heating and air conditioning during the winter put out a really hot exhaust when it cycled on. Plus it was protected by an overhang. There was a light that ran till 1 in the morning, and I could read, and all my stuff, the HV ducting came out, and the big unit was there. I had like a 2 by 2 foot area where I kept all my stuff, and I slept right next to it. When I heard all the sounds, I first hear the solenoid, or sorry, the gas valve open, the solenoid open, and I could count 5 seconds, and then you would hear the ticker, the piezo igniter, and then you would wait like 7 seconds, and then the burner would come on. And then all of a sudden, 20 seconds after that, the blower would come on. And so you had that much time to take your sleeping bag and get around the end of the unit when it's snowing, and put your sleeping bag up around your neck and get against it and wait for the heat to come on. And it would run for, 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah. And then you go back and tuck back down and lay down and sleep for a while. Oh, but shit. I was hidden back there. No one ever went back there. So, finally, I got reported. Then when I got tackled by them sheriffs back there, and he's got his knee on my neck and his weight on my back, because I have my little collection of stuff, and I wasn't picking it up fast enough to move, so they got me for trespassing. But they tackled me all. I couldn't breathe. And couldn't talk. I was like, can't breathe. Yeah, it's kind of hard when you're in that situation. But I lived through it, and I got lessons. I got stories for kids. I got stories for people that don't want to hear them. I got stories for trees.
Oh, yes, very.
So I flew that sign. It was the very first sign I flew, and then I always watched the people flying signs, and they're these little tiny signs. And first off, they got 15 words, if not more, on these little signs, and you can't read them. The only way they're getting money is because they just appear homeless, which is one way to make money, I found out, I didn't have to try. People would just walk up and give me money. I was kind of in that condition. So I was like, I'm not wasting my cardboard, I'm not wasting my pen, and I'm gonna get I tracked down and bought like a real thicker magic marker and spent the money, because I'm like, hey, if this is how I'm gonna make my living, then I need to invest in the materials that make my living. Yes. So I would make sure I had a big piece of cardboard, and I wouldn't waste my time writing you know, I'm homeless, because everyone freaking knows you're homeless when you're flying a cardboard sign. There are some fakers out there, and that's another story about how we catch fakers. We know, we learn, and they're not secrets to us. There's people that are fake homeless. We deal with it. Anyways, so I always made a bigger sign: leave off homeless, leave off God bless, because first off, some people are offended by it.
Yeah.
You know, when you say God bless you,
I know,
I actually
nowadays.
had a man that looked like he was Middle Eastern, and I had to check myself because he said 3 times before I was almost automatically going to say it.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, "No God bless you, no God bless you, no God bless you," and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you know, but thank you, you know." And so I got to the point where I would say bless you, and I sometimes write that on my sign. More importantly, I would say thank you. So like if I said spare 50 cents, it would say thank you.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
So you just check yourself on that one.
yeah. So, you know, I saved space on the sign, and I made sure I made signs that were big enough and legible enough that people could see them from, say, 6, 7, 8 cars back, because otherwise people are staring at someone standing on the corner with this dark little piece of cardboard with scrawling on it, you know, and it already tells them the information they already know: homeless, hungry, need help, please, you know, God bless.
Yeah.
All that shit is on the same friggin' sign, until you see these creative people and they make money. And, you know, I hate to say that homelessness, being homeless, and homelessness is not an act. But when you're homeless, in order to make more money, you have to portray yourself as more desperate than you are.
Really?
The times that I tried to clean myself up and get a haircut, shave myself,
And
clean clothes, you make way less money. And your money is what you need to get by, you know.
So you
and
have
whether
to,
you want to call yourself a straight bum, because that's what society would refer to me, a bum. I was asking for money to survive and not working. And I was an alcoholic bum. But so back to my signs, and I learned suddenly is like, well, why not have fun with this, you know? And why not even ask for money, but make them think, or maybe make them laugh. That's a big one. You know, I found out when I was making funny signs that if you make someone laugh, they're very likely to help you out, you know, and they'll tell you.
Like I said, I seen your picture on the internet.
Yeah, so.
And I seen that, and I was like,
which
oh
one
my
was I flying
What
then?
was that? What was that one?
Was it, does this sign make my butt look big?
Yes, I think it's
or
that
was
one.
it
Mickey Mouse?
Mickey, is Minnie just Mickey in drag? That sign made me so much money. One woman, she busted out laughing so hard, I thought she was gonna start, you know, slip her foot off the brake or something, man. She rolled down her window and gave me this 20 and said, "You have made my week." You know, she was so happy. And I said, that's my point. If you don't have money to share, if you can't give me anything, if I can give you a smile, then that's what I'm gonna do. And so my point was, you know, I can stare at these cars all day and look miserable, or I can make them smile. And then if they want to help me out, that's their choice. And, you know, and I'm very thankful for it. I appreciate it always when people help me out, you know, and sometimes people would help me out with like half-eaten food.
Really?
I've been like from a window. Here's a half-eaten slice of gas station pizza for you. Just thank you. I appreciate it. God bless you. You know, thank you.
Yes.
And then you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? I can't leave it here on the island, you know.
Yeah. And you told me you had pizza after pizza one time.
Oh, Little Caesars. Well, let me finish on the sign.
Okay,
Because there's some funnier signs.
All right. Tell me another sign that you flew up here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, one time I proved that you could make money without asking for anything, and also make a very quizzical sign. I made a sign that said, "Beatles or Elvis," and that's all it said.
Yeah.
And I flew it on the center divide right there at the intersection in Kansas and Republic, and facing west. And so people would point up and down, roll down their windows, and they'd shout. So people got on with it. They figured out what I was throwing down. They were picking up what I was putting down.
Yeah.
So so yeah, people were loving it and then handing me money. And so I said, you know, I was going to do Reagan or Clinton, but then you're calling back to a generation sometimes that don't even know you're talking about right here. And then
Elvis, but Elvis and Beatles, that was actually
Elvis and Beatles, everyone knows, you know, and like they say, if you watch Pulp Fiction and in the cut scenes from the movie, he's in the cab ride with the cab driver, and she's that exotic woman. She's asking him questions, and then she says, "Are you a Beatles man or an Elvis man?" Because she says you can only be one or the other, and I kind of go with that. I'm a Beatles man, you know. But I flew that sign, and people handed me money, and you know. So then, I flew a funny sign, and I made a really good friend called Big Chief. He was Native American. The guy was a monster, dude. I had a car. I found a refrigerator box, right? And so I had my big giant marker, cost $4 at Walmart for this marker, but damn, the best $4 I ever spent in my life every time I bought one, because that marker made me money. And then I actually went to these the white plastic cardboard signs, because they stand up to rain and everything,
So
and they stand out.
You just held a
But
sign.
I took the whole side of a refrigerator box and the blank inside of it, and I wrote in giant letters, "Does this sign make my butt look big?" And I stood on the island, you know, I'm holding it up like that. And people are honking, and man, I made money. But that's how I met Big Chief, and Big Chief and I were friends. We never camped together, really. I think we slept in the same spots and stuff. We hung out a lot together for a while. And he and I taxed out one of those homeless people that wasn't homeless.
Yeah.
An old man who looked convincing as hell, but every day we watched him go behind the gas station and get picked up by a brand new Honda.
Oh shit.
So this old man's out there flying a sign, and he's getting money. And that's taking money out of a homeless person's hands, you know,
Sure.
and we take offense to that.
That is
true. You know, I will say to people out there, you take money out of our hands and we know you're not homeless. Don't worry about the public taking care of it. We'll take care of it. So we taxed him, and we were gentle on him. We went out there and basically said, you know, both of us walked right up on him and said, okay, man, you're giving us half your money.
So this
I better not say this. Is probably some sort of blackmail. I mean, I see, you give your half your money. You know, this is how it happened on the street. You give us half your money, or you give your half your money. You know what's going to happen. Yes. So he gave us half his money.
So there's codes on the street, right?
There's certain things like, okay, never walk into a homeless camp. Unannounced. Never unannounced walk into a homeless camp. That is dangerous shit right there. Especially a bigger camp, but you know, they're like surprise most. You walk into a smaller camp in the woods or somewhere hidden, don't do it. It's bad news. It's happened in our camp, and it ended without violence, but it was not a scene.
So there's
rules like that. And then, okay, so I was telling you about, well, let me finish this. Okay. So a couple funnier signs before we lose track. Okay, because you're gonna remind me about this bitch who walked in front of me when I was flying a sign. About 10 feet away flying a sign. That's stepping on someone's toes, and that's a no-no on the street, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, so I made these funny signs, spare 50 cents, and I would have it upside down on the back, a different sign. And so it would say spare 50 cents, and on the back say anything helps, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I would show them the one sign, and then I would turn my body and flip the sign where they couldn't see it, and I'd spin back around, and it would say something completely different. And you would see them pointing and looking and going, didn't that just say, didn't it? And then you catch their attention, then they pay attention again closer, then they give you money.
Okay. So
anyway, so the funny big sign that was complicated for people, this one's what I call my sophisticated sign. Okay. And it was a dingo ate my baby, need airfare to Australia. Actually, I made two signs. One said need ticket to Australia, but I put, and I made a big sign, because there's a lot to say on a sign, still have it legible from 6, 7, 8 cars back. A dingo ate my baby, need airfare to Australia. So that tie-in is to obviously the movie A Cry in the Dark, you know, about the dingo that had stolen that woman's baby. She ended up going to prison for and was finally released and pardoned. It also the tie-in on Friends, which catches a whole nother generation of people that would remember Elaine screaming, "A dingo ate my baby!" And so it was funny. The people that got it really got it. It was fucking great, man. These people were smiling and laughing and yelling from their car windows. And some people were, I mean, they were always taking pictures, but I got a lot of pictures when I first pulled that sign out. Yeah. And then so I'm standing there, and I'm by, any of you out there know where Bass Pro Shops is in Springfield, Missouri. I'm at Sunshine and Campbell right there at that corner. Can't miss it. So I'm standing there at the gas station side facing Bass Pro, and facing west again, and this cat walks up across the crosswalk, you know, smooth as fuck, comes walking over, walks up to me, and walks right up, hands me a 20. I say, he didn't say anything until the last minute. He walks up, hands me a crisp 20 and says, here you go, that'll help you get to Australia, I hope. And I thanked him very much, and then I was curious because he was so deadpan, right? This guy's like cool as a cucumber, man. I'm like, cool, fan. And anyways, so I said, well, did you like the sign? He says, that is the funniest fucking thing I have seen in a long time. And then he walked away. That was how he said. He wasn't excited or nothing about it. I said, right on, brother. You have your day. I'm right where you're at, man. I'm feeling you. So yeah, so that cat rolled off, but man, yeah.
That was a pretty good
So
sign.
that was a great sign. Many as making a drag. I would have people once in a while try to argue that, well, they are two different individuals. You see them kissing, and I'm like, you guys are missing the point, man.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with this.
Exactly.
Smile.
Like, come on.
You know
better.
yeah, because I'm gonna go home and crawl into a hole tonight to sleep, and you're gonna go home and sleep on your comfort master bed, super adjustable, with your kids all going to soccer practice the next day. Yeah. So I didn't care, anyway. So my signs were funny, and if people didn't get it, it's like your problem. You're losing out on this one. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so yeah. So you say codes on the street. Well, code is you don't step on someone like that.
Like the rules and the
yeah, there's rules, man. But it's also you're dealing with a crowd that doesn't follow rules.
Yes.
You have to understand that. As a nature, their very nature, addicts don't follow rules. Alcoholics don't like rules, And so you try to say there's this set of rules you have to follow by. They're like, fuck that, They're plus, and I will say this. I would say 75% of the people that I met on the street had addiction of some form or other, and then I would say at least 60% in my experience. That's just I don't have hard numbers, but I would say 60% of people have some sort of mental health disorder, if not more.
I believe.
So, anyways, so this bitch walks up on me one time. I'm flying a sign in Glenstone, which I don't normally stay on that part of town, the north side. It's way too many homeless people.
Yes.
It's way too much police attention, and as a result of being so concentrated, so many homeless people, there's no money to be made.
Yeah.
When these people are in the same area, and these people see them every single day, driving the same traffic patterns, and they're not going to hand out money when they're every single corner you go to. You just either get tired of it because you don't have any money, or you just get numb to it because you're just so used to it. And then that's a sad part about homelessness is, I would like to say to people, you ever felt invisible? I almost was going to title my series, You Ever Felt Invisible? But, that doesn't explain. It's not catchy enough about how my life is different. I wanted something that draws someone's attention to the fact that it was a different story. But basically, when you're homeless, you feel invisible.
You do.
Because society tries to ignore you,
actively
ignores you.
When I was homeless and on the street, I didn't flash sign or anything. I just went up and asked.
Spanging, asking for money.
Yes, I did that.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I got like $20, but it was like the last side of the job when I did that.
Right.
I got like $20, $8. I just asked, like, hey, can you have spare change? I just wanted 50 cents or something like that. And they wind up like giving you $5, $10. It's actually a pretty good place.
Right.
But I was speaking to St. Louis at the time, and I didn't really want to leave, but I had to take off. Good place though. I never flew slide. I was wanting to once, but I didn't have the courage to.
Yeah, it takes humility. And my old campmates used to say, go ahead.
I was gonna say I wanted to take a shot of vodka and relax myself and just get out there, but no, I still didn't have the courage.
I had to get my buzz on. And in desperate situation, you will get your money.
Yeah.
The quickest sign I ever made to make money, and this was when I was shaking, and this was when I was queasy and needed a drink. Now was need $1.35 bus fare.
Yeah.
Because within 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to have $2 to $5. And that happens, but you can't keep flying the sign at the same intersection. If you do, you have to walk away as soon as you get money, because the second car sees you get money and you're still standing there, they know you're full of shit. They're going to call you out, especially if you don't walk off when the driver hands you $5. So I would go to the gas station, sit back there, drink a tall boy, Earthquake, or maybe a Four Loko or something, maybe have a shot. Well, if I had $5, I'd grab a shot, but if I just had $2, maybe I had spare change, I'd grab that 24 high gravity,
Yeah.
The malt liquor stuff kick your ass if you get it right,
Room temperature, get a hot.
I drank.
Hot beer.
I drank. Okay, this is people, because some people would gross out when I was homeless about that I drank shit like Earthquake and Stacks.
You have to drink that. I mean, that's cheap.
What you can afford. The most bang for your buck.
Exactly.
I just wouldn't go to vodka. That's the most bang for your buck.
Vodka.
But I drank my beer because I drink too fast, and if I drink vodka, I get drunk like super fast, and I'll go through my cycle of waking up and sobering up, and then passing out after I drink enough, and then doing the thing all day long. You know, I used to play with vodka, and I was bad with it, you know, but I don't touch it that much. And people give it to me. One of my funniest courtroom and arrest stories goes with vodka. Someone gave me a big bottle of it, and they only took enough out to make a screwdriver in a water bottle.
Wow.
Anyways, that's another story.
God.
So let's talk about the signs. Okay, that $1.35 bus fare, that's one to get the shakes off. And you know, that one anyone can make if they need to get $2 to $5 fast. You know, it's, you can ask for an all-day pass. Say you need all day pass, need, you know, $1.80, whatever it is in your city.
Yes.
But I always made my signs big and clear and funny. You know, I did make some asking for money, spare 25 cents. One of the funnier ones, even the cops pulled up, and it was, I bet you can't hit me with a quarter. And since we have an ordinance in this city here in Springfield, that if you step in the street, you get a higher fine than it is to have a dog off a leash. It's a $99 fine in this city to have a loose dog, but if you're a homeless person and you step in the street to take $1 out of someone's window, that's a $120 fine. So anyways,
Dang.
so I made the sign so I didn't have to step in the street. So it says, bet you can't meet the court. People are throwing money at me, and then they always apologize. I'm sorry I threw money at you, here's cash. And it made me money. You know, I lost so much coins in the grass though, it was sad. But some dude drove by and gave me a whole handful of money, slung it at me, man. I think I got like a 20th of it. It was all in grass and all over down the street. Oh, he's being an asshole. Like the guy that he drove up, one guy drove up and goes, here, and he went to punch me in the face, dude. I dodged it, you know, and some people up in the parking lot at Cane's Chicken, or what, Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
And they saw it and came down and gave me a $10 bill because they felt so bad because this guy took a swing at me because he was that kind of person with homeless. And that's what happens on the street with homeless people. You're going to see more of that.
A tube shot on you.
So, yeah. You know, and fake 20. Some guy gives me a fake 20, right? I'm down at Kansas Center Public, right? I'm facing west again. And this is when you used to be able to legally stand on the center divide, which down there is about that wide.
Center divide,
they came out there one time, and KY3 News Crew came out about this new Wheels to Work program for homeless.
You were there.
And I was standing there, and they waved me over to the corner and talked to me about this program, and I was pretty drunk. Still put my ass on the news that night, KY3 News, and I would say it's probably 2015, 2016, if anyone wants to hunt.
Yeah, you can look for them.
Anyways, so Wheels to Work. Anyways, so they had me on this. So they filmed me. The cameraman's over on the corner after they interviewed me on the side. He goes, I want to stand out there with you when you have the sign. I said, you sure you want to do that, brother? Because it's wild out there, you know? He goes, yeah, we'll do that. So I go out and stand there with my sign. He steps back. You know, I'm kind of just half flying it because he's talking to me, you know, and interviewing me while the cameraman's filming it. And these cars are whipping by. He was like 55 miles an hour, and you're on this thing this wide. And he goes, "It's a little scary out here, isn't it?" And I said, a little bit.
A little bit. You get used to it.
Yeah.
Just let it take it.
So I was at the same place, right? This Jeep comes flying up on this island 6 feet away from me, dude. Yeah, and this corner is like a double turn, and then there's traffic coming and they can't see, and it's always hectic there. So yeah, I'm sitting there flying my sign, and this Jeep goes, like 6 feet away from me. I'm like, that's good. I wasn't walking when I was holding it, because I would have been bumped. It had been another exciting day. Like the time I got knocked off the road, somebody give me a bicycle, right? Some dude, friend of mine, Chris, who knew me, he used to come and hang with me in the woods when I was out there with Vic. And so he says his parents have this bicycle they want to give to me. It's been sitting in the garage. And it was an old mountain bike, not expensive, but it was a bike. You know, I was happy about it. I was going to take it back to my campsite down there at Kansas Avenue, Long. I was riding down Kansas, heading to my campsite. I got hit from behind, shoved off the side of the road, and bent my bike wheel like that. And luckily there was grass on the side. Some bitch didn't even stop. No one stopped.
Hit and run.
No one stopped, dude. It was a minivan. I saw that from the grass. It laid on my side. I was
it
like,
hit your ass.
Yeah, just knocked me right off the side of the road. destroyed the bike. I just got it like 2 hours ago.
It was a really nice bike.
It was not nice, but it was a bicycle. It was free and it was decent. It was not like a tweaker bike. We got no brakes on them.
Yeah.
They use their soles of their feet that are always worn out. Tweakers are magic that way. If you ever see a tweaker bike that's got working brakes, they just got it.
Yeah, that's true. They probably stole it, took off with it.
So yeah, this bitch, I didn't tell you, this bitch stepped in front of me. We're talking about signs and rules.
Signs,
man.
yeah.
So wait, so we're done with the camera crew.
Yeah.
You know that guy, yeah, he was scared when he was standing out there on the island, man, and he was cars whipping by, and yeah, I've had people throw shit at me and shit. You know, mirrors hit me. You know,
So
yeah, that's fun. That's fucking fun.
Knock you down.
Bling, you're like, God damn it.
You know that's a hit and run, right?
Yeah, I know, but they don't
You
care.
can
It's
get
like
the
getting
fucking-
shoved off the road on a bike.
I mean, still, you can fucking get their tag and
Yeah, but I was
Soon.
not paying attention to
you
the
got
tag.
hit hard, dude.
No, I got clipped, but not hard enough. Like, yeah, I didn't get knocked down, but
Okay, anything knocked
not
you
like
down?
the time I got struck by lightning. Well, it was ground. I got ground splashed by lightning. Okay, they call it ground
Hold on.
current.
Hold on,
I got
man.
ground current struck by lightning, but that was in the same spot where that cop had tased me, and well, that's another story. So back to signs.
Oh God, dude.
So okay. So anyways, that intersection down there, yeah, I used to fly, so he came and did a story on me. So this bitch walks in front of me. I'm on North Glenstone, up in the homeless zone up there. It's bad. There's a lot, like fleas on a pound dog, you know.
Yeah.
So I go stand on the center divide. Oh, you need a fresh pack. I think there's partial in one of my pockets. Sorry, folks. More important business.
There you
Look in
go.
there.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm standing there, and I've been there for like 15 minutes, and this chick walks out with a sign and steps like 12, 15 feet away from me, right in front of me, facing the same direction. And I was like, good God, woman. Oh, man, we had words on that, and then that turned into
Did she bowl up to you?
Huh?
Did she bowl up
No,
to
she
you?
ran off and told her old man. Because I told her off. And I was mad. So I'm not going to lie. You know, sometimes you say words to people that can't understand normal thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
You just did a smart ass remark, called her out.
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
So, anyways, so she went crying off, and this turned into a whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and this is a situation, my old campmate, Richard, he was a great campmate too, and I just lost contact with him when I started getting off the street. We just got separated and lost contact, and he's a great man, but stuck in addiction and stuck in a life that I don't think he actually cares to get out of. Some people on the street don't care they're homeless. They actually enjoy the life and the freedom.
I noticed
and,
that
deal with the hardship. Yeah.
So I ran into multiple people. Most of them are not homeless. They just want to travel. You know what I mean?
No,
Like I had somebody that cashed in a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was going from St. Louis to Oklahoma.
So this is how we get distracted. Just let you know.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go on.
I'm sorry, I had to throw my story in.
No, go ahead.
But it's like the same way, like homeless people, some of them are just travelers, just saying.
Yeah.
Because I ran into multiple people, unless, you know.
Well, the hobos I met in Joplin, the kids.
Oh,
All
yeah.
they did was hop trains. They just traveled. They would stay in the city for a week or two and move on.
But this person, they cashed in a 401k. They
There's
retired.
people that do that, yeah.
And they have banks and all that stuff, and he was carrying a big case of water. That's not what I told you. He's like, take this, take this. And I couldn't carry everything, so I left a whole pack of water on the side of the road. That's my bad. If it was still there, I hope somebody grabbed it. But anyways, I left it on the side of the road, heading to Oklahoma. And all of a sudden, I just said, they're heading north. That's what they were saying.
Right.
So they were traveling the road, back roads.
Right.
But this guy was like
I'm gonna have some soda
huge.
pop. Right.
Freaking huge. I mean, like close to 7 foot and like broad shoulders. And he's carrying this big old duffel bag, like maybe a 5 foot duffel bag over his shoulders and walking with it. And his wife's like maybe 5'4", just running around.
Right.
I was like, golly. This is we're cashing our 401k. We're traveling the road. You want to go with this? I said, I'm going that way.
Yeah. There's a lot of homeless people on the street that are on disability or on fixed income, you know, from Social Security. And they live on the street, and that's how they do it. They don't spend much money. They get what if they're drunks, you know, or alcoholics, they get what they need. If they're addicts, they get what they need, or if they're not. I know one gentleman, he's been sober, according to him, over 20 years, and he just likes the freedom. you know.
Yeah.
And he's a very peaceful man. He just sits out and he reads or he talks to people. He's a great man. He just is on the streets. There's a lot of people out there, and that people don't understand, that general public, I should say,
Yes.
don't understand when they see a homeless person that they're truly people.
Yes.
They're actually a person.
You said you feel invisible.
You do feel invisible, man, and it's like watching the world from the backside of a two-way mirror. Because because you watch, you know, and I said earlier, you know, in another video about how when I first realized that I was not going to avoid being homeless, I thought, always view it as a great social experiment. You know, how I wanted to see what it was like to live in someone else's shoes, live someone else's completely different life from every, you know, I was middle class when I was raised, and, you know, my parents didn't have a lot of money. They had money, you know, I didn't want for things. You know, I was a swimmer in high school, 3 years. I ran cross country.
Wow.
You know, I just didn't go to college. You know, it was too wild. And, you know, I knew I was not going to be able to go through college without dropping out. And it would have been a waste for everyone. I do regret not going to college, and there's still the option in my life that I could still go to college. You know, I'm 52. My life's wide open and free to me right now. It's a blank canvas. You know.
Yeah, understandable.
Anyway, so it's like watching the world from behind a two-way mirror.
I never noticed that. I'm gonna be honest, I never noticed that when I was.
When you, because, you know, I've seen someone, you know, fly a sign in a different city. I used to Google funny signs to see what else people were trying, and I seen a sign that said "ever felt invisible," and I almost flew that. But then that makes people think too deeply.
Yeah.
And then you make people think, and they make them uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable thought.
Yes.
Do I make these people feel invisible? Do I negate them that much? Are they that minimalized as part of society?
It is actually. If
Yeah,
you think
they
about
are.
it, yeah.
Yeah, we are. And so people will actively ignore you,
Yeah.
you know, or, you know, if you try to talk to them. I've had people I've said words to, you know, and they just will keep walking or pretend they didn't even hear me, won't even move, just keep, you know, other than walking, you know, or doing what they're doing. Look, there's a bunny bun rabbit.
Oh, a little rabbit over there.
So, see, we got light. Yeah,
It's pretty good.
We're still, shoot, it's already 40 minutes, but if we make another hour one, people, I'm sorry about that. I make the long ones. My plans to start making shorter ones, because I know people don't have time, but for those who do take the time, I think we do supply a little bit of entertainment or some interesting thoughts, you know, conversation.
Bigger.
Yeah, so I watched the world from the other side of the mirror, you know, and got to see, who's that?
Oh, somebody
I recognize. So, you know, you see how people behave, and then you see the fake Christians, which we'll not get into right now, because the people that have the crosses and have the stickers, and especially Sunday afternoons. And I'm not going to lie about this. Sunday afternoons after church, if you're out flying a sign, the people dressed in their Sunday best have already apparently tithed to church, because they're not tithing to the people Jesus would tell them to tithe to. And that's the people that are standing there with their hands open for alms for the poor, people that need help. Anyways, and again, there's a lot of wonderful Christians I've met in my life, so I'm not saying anything about Christians or Christianity. I'm just saying what I observed in my real life through actual experience. Some wonderful Christians have given me money, helped me, given me things. I think one Christian that I won't call a wonderful Christian, but actually let me sleep in his house for a couple weeks, trying to help me get on my feet and get sober. It didn't work, obviously. I don't like rules, but anyways, so you see the world and how people treat you, how people ignore you, and some people are very aggressive, you know, when you're some spot, like, you know, we were sitting behind that gas station one time, me and Caveman and a couple other people. This guy drove by in a truck and whipped a sandwich at us. Not like, here, have a sandwich, but like whipped it at us and said, here, eat something, and then drove off. Caveman chased their sons of bitches out of the parking lot, man. That guy was Caveman was a man.
Oh, damn.
Caveman was a man. One eye, he had got a knife fight, lost one eye in a knife fight.
You still have to get to a knife fight, I'm saying.
Oh, the knife fight stuff comes, There were knife fights, but luckily only my clothing got hurt in those situations.
Yeah.
But it happens on the street. I don't tell Mom about it. Mom, sorry, you're going to hear about it now. It's too late. Never gun fights. People on the street don't carry guns, because if it's worth anything, they've traded it off for dope, or you're going to get attention from the police, and that's attention you don't want, especially the legal ramifications that go along with being caught with a pistol, especially most likely stolen if you got it on the streets.
But airsoft is all right.
I don't play with any fake guns. I carried a big 7-inch fixed blade off and on when they weren't stolen from me. Always carried a pocket knife. Carried a machete in camp. Always had a machete in camp or a hatchet. For a while, carried a machete on my pack. But you try to avoid situations like that. Sometimes unavoidable.
But what's a knife fight? I mean, we're talking.
No, come on. Let's go to more fun things.
Okay.
Well, we have other time.
We have time for this.
You're just fighting. There's a lot of fighting when you're homeless. There's a lot of. I've been hit in the head with rocks. Been hit in the head with boards. In the head with steel pipe, obviously. Been hit in the head with a fist. I don't know how many goddamn times. I've never been knocked out by anyone but myself on the street. Seriously. And then the worst beating I gave myself, or the worst beating I had, fractured my jaw. I gave myself.
Shit.
That was I was drunk. My roommate or campmate, we call him. My campmate hadn't come out from the woods to help me walk in, and it was a dark, treacherous path and winding. And I was drunk, so I'd call sometimes ahead of him, and he would come out and greet me and walk me in, so I wouldn't hurt myself like this occasion. I was impatient, and I stumbled forward, and the only friggin' log we have on our pathway into camp is about this big around, some form of hardwood, and about that long. And I tripped drunk and fell face first into that, and fractured my cheekbone.
God.
But I didn't know it. It sure as hell hurt, but I was pretty drunk, so it didn't hurt that bad. So I get back into my campsite, and my campmate, he's already looking at me. He's like, man, your face is swelling up. You hit it pretty hard. And I'm going, yeah, it feels a little puffy, And then like 15 minutes later, he's like, man, your face is really swollen. My eyes all half closed. And my cheeks all out. So I wake up in the morning, man, it's out to here, my nose is pushed over this way.
Swollen that bad.
I go, I better go to the emergency room. He's like, you might, but then of course I had to drink first, because we ain't going there sober, because it takes forever. And there's a risk you might start going into withdrawals, while you're waiting in the emergency room. So you got to go in there with a good strong buzz going. In fact, one time I went in the emergency room to turn myself in for help. I walked in there fine at 0.38. They took my blood, and they came back and said, Mr. Cole, you're drunk. And I was like, no, I'm just buzzed. And I was like, no, I'm just really buzzed. And they said, no, you're drunk. And they said, you're 0.38. And I said, no. And they said, yeah. Anyways, so what was I telling you about this? What were you asking? I was telling you about.
You were talking about. You have so many stories.
I can't remember that one. Oh, it's funny. They're all funny.
Yes,
so if we
very.
get lost,
It's just,
we're still here.
Yeah,
we still hear some other funny stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it was. And people, they see homeless people and they don't realize what a struggle it is.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in their house when it's 5 degrees, 6 degrees outside, and you're sleeping in the woods. And even
how do you guys do that during winter?
If you were prepared enough and you knew it was coming, we tried to have a tent,
Yeah.
I did do transient moving around the city in the wintertime, and it's a lot harder because you got to have a shopping cart, and you got to carry like at least 2 sleeping bags with you, and you have your fleece or whatever, your sweats or whatever you can wear under your clothes.
So you had a shopping cart one time?
For a while, I would run with a shopping cart. Once in a while. It ties you down, but it frees you up. You're tied to the cart because you can't take it into a lot of stores, when it's loaded with everything you own in the world.
You're afraid somebody's going to take the shit.
Yeah, everything you own in the world, yeah. People are scandalous out there, man. Bad news, bad. They'll steal from each other, man, like nothing. Steal in front of you. I had a guy one time try to steal my bike. A bunch of us homeless people got together, and like 3 of us had bikes. This dude that showed up on feet, man, he got on my bike when I was talking to some other dude and started riding away. Man, put a stop to that shit. Fuck you, dude. You ain't even doing that. One, they were all on his ass, man. Oh, we got him. Nice. But yeah, so that's how these people are. So you couldn't leave your shopping cart out, so. But a shopping cart let you move and move, so if you...
So you do put like a sleeping bag on the bottom and you sleep on top of it, or you double...
In the winter?
Yes.
If I have my tent, one winter, actually I went a winter without any tarps or tents. I crashed in that partially burned house for a while, and then that got hot. The cops started being aware of me being there, so I moved on and just crashed here and there. and I was able to stay. The winter was mild that year, and anyways, but when the winter that I burned myself, it was 2021.
Yeah,
In January, February 2021. It was about 21 degrees out that night, I think. And Richard and I were sleeping in the woods, and I had a sleeping bag, but I was cold as hell. Oh fuck, man! It was bone cold.
Yeah.
And so we just had a tarp pitched at a slope like that, front to back, and I was sleeping behind Richard instead of us being head to head by the fire. So I said, screw this, I was cold. He was soaking up some fire heat, and I had these big, thick, insulated coveralls on.
Yeah.
Like you see homeless people wearing, Carhartts, or mine were just dark blue. I can't remember the brand, it's not important. But they're polyester insulation, so
Yes.
you wear them with your sweatpants and other shit underneath, but I was just wearing those because they were warm enough.
Yeah.
So fell asleep by the fire, and I guess either I'm a restless sleeper, I was
You
drunk.
rolled over?
I was drunk. Well, I woke up, and my leg hurt real bad. I looked down, there's flames, that tall come out my inside coveralls, man. Slapped them out, man. And I was mad about it because I was drunk, and I guess it burned for quite a while because it took a little bit to wake me up.
Yeah.
Because
It got your skin, didn't you?
I was able to fall back asleep. It's amazing.
No shit?
Yeah, I was able to fall back asleep. I was that drunk. And crap. So then in the morning, I realized it hurt. It hurt pretty fucking bad. Boy, howdy, burns are fun, kids. You don't want one. Anyways, so I hear my half intoxicated ass thinks, well, I got to take care of this wound, right?
Yeah.
And there's burned in insulation melted into this
Just
burn.
kidding.
It's this big, And so I get Neosporin. I got extra money. I went to Neosporin and got a bunch of bandages. And for like 3 days, it's getting worse every day. It's getting redder and bigger, and it's harder for me to get up to walk. And it was icy that time because it was so fucking cold. We had an ice storm, and so we're sitting over, and I had to walk across to get some more supplies for my wound. Plus, Richard sent me over. He's like, "You go over and get some beer for us and some shots." And so I'm the one gimped the hell up, and I'm scooting slowly, shuffling across. I could barely stand up. My wound was so swollen and infected. I'm still putting Neosporin on it. Well, my fog of alcohol, I'm not thinking, Neosporin doesn't fix dead meat. That's all it was on my leg. It was burned dead meat. And so the third day, man, I could hardly move. I tried to debride it myself in a bathtub. We got to spend the night at someone's apartment. There was there was like a dozen people packed in this little tiny apartment. People stepping on me in the middle of the night. Anyways, I tried to clean the wound in the bathtub, and that hurt like hell.
Oof.
Anyways, so
You went to doctors on that?
so I finally called the ambulance.
Okay, good.
I called the ambulance, and they all ditched me out the parking lot. They walked me out the parking lot away from this apartment because I guess there was bad things going on there, drug-wise and all that sort of shit. I wasn't paying attention to. I was worried about my leg. It hurt.
Yes.
So they took me over by a gas station. Ambulance picks me up over there. He unwraps my wound and looks at it. The guy in the ambulance right away, man, he goes, "Man, you might lose your leg." And I'm like, I don't really want to hear that. You know? And so they take me to the burn unit at Mercy Hospital in Springfield here. Thank you, Mercy Hospital. Thank you, the burn unit. Springfield, Missouri. Only burn unit in town. Took care of me very, very well. Kept me longer than they needed to be because I needed to be held because I was homeless. And they were worried about my infection, potentially in my an infection starting in my leg because of skin grafts and how weak it was and how susceptible I was to filth. Thank you, the burn unit at Mercy Hospital, Springfield, Missouri. So they take me in the burn unit, and then I see this male nurse in the burn unit. It treated me very, very well. And he looks at it. The first thing he says is, "You might lose your leg." And I said, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm kind of attached to my leg,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I bet." So then he puts me in their little hot tub thing, and
tackle your leg down.
trying to soften up my wound.
Yeah, so you can scrape it?
So he could try to scrape it.
Yeah, try to scrape it.
So that he set me in there for like 45 minutes. We're having pleasant conversation, and then he starts to work on it, and that's when the cussing started. Because if you've never had someone try to tear the crap out of a burn on your body,
Oh,
it hurts.
he had to slide something over it and try to scrape it.
He
Yeah.
was just scraping on it with different things, and
But
I
you had
wasn't
plastic
having,
and everything still stuck to it.
Yeah, well, it was melted to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you
the
already had
insulation
dead
of my
meat on
coveralls
there.
melted to it. Yeah, so I started cussing, and I apologized promptly, and I said, I'm real sorry about that. He goes, no. He says, we learned here in the burning unit, sometimes it just helps to cuss. And so this female nurse walks in, and just after he finished saying that, she says, did you start cussing yet? And she goes, yeah, he started. And I already told him it's okay. So they just realized that wasn't going to work. They took me to surgery, and I woke up, in a bed, and I looked down on my leg, and when they unwrapped it, it looked like there was a 1/4-inch divot of meat they took off my leg, and a skin graft they took off my thigh up here, which now has freckles all over it because it's white skin. That hurt more after the surgery than my surgery, the healing of my wound.
Because it was dead nerves.
Yeah, you bang on it. Yeah, yeah, it don't hurt.
God, please.
Anyways, it doesn't grow hair.
I bet.
So that was I got burned,
Yeah.
So people that see homeless people and then they think they should get a job, just get a job or do this or that, they need to consider that's the sort of shit we go through, and we still have to be out there smiling and making money, and surviving in some way or other, but, we go through that sleeping underneath the bridge on dirt, with nothing, no blankets, nothing, not even a sheet of cardboard to lay on because it's raining. And you've already walked 45 minutes to an hour in the rain just to get there, and you're wet and cold, but you do that. Like the time I woke up when I was hypothermic at 95 degrees, I didn't know, I could hardly move. I was shivering so bad, but I couldn't get up and get out. If those people hadn't heard me call for help, they were on their break from the business, they were over a cinder block wall, I was sleeping under my tarp, but I was soaking wet and cold. And they were on their smoke break or something. And I heard them talking, and I started screaming help, man. And finally, they got quiet.
You did?
And I was like, great, I'm gonna fucking die here, and I can't get out of here. I'm stuck and I can't crawl. And here comes a security guard, and he came walking around the bushes, and he goes, what's going on, man? And I said, man, I'm shivering, I can't hardly talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't, I'm hypothermic, I'm cold, I'm dying, and he called the ambulance, and they got me out of there, and they freaked out when they did take my temperature. They're like, oh my God, he's 95 degrees. And they piled it on when I was at the hospital, piled blankets in his heat packs. And it took me like an hour to stop shivering. And if they had not come out on their smoke break, that's all she wrote, folks. They would have been finding my body eventually. And then, I would have been a statistic. Another homeless guy died, but we're getting up on an hour. We're about 57 minutes.
Right.
You want to finish off?
Yeah, we can finish off.
We don't have to. We can, a tiny little story to finish up, or
it's up to you. This
signs.
is your document.
If there's any funny signs.
Just
so I was telling you about. Okay, we'll finish up on that. We're getting out.
Yes.
The cop, right? The cop I told you about pulled up to me when I had vegetarian me with the quarter.
Yeah.
And hold on. So this cop car pulls up right in front of me, and I'm waiting for the static, right? Because that's automatic,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to start giving me a hard time, moving me on, even though I wasn't breaking the law exactly where I was. And so he looks at me, and there's two of them in the car, and he says, do people really throw money at you? And I said, you bet your ass they do. And I said, the one thing about it is that I don't have to step in the street to get my money, so I don't break the law. And he looked at me and goes, you're a clever man. And so, he just smiled, and they drove off. Both of them smiled, and they drove off, and they didn't hassle me on that one. I was like, cool, man. At least he's got it, and he ain't about hassling, because he's got bigger business to do, you know?
That's a good one.
Especially two in a car, they ain't got time to hassle a homeless person. Well, not to say that. I've had 4 of them on me for no reason in the past. Suddenly, one shows up, and then you look around, there's 3 cars, there's 4 cops.
You know how I am.
Okay.
Yeah, different story.
Let me tell you a funny one. Okay, I'm over by, this should be quick enough.
Okay.
Because it's kind of quick and kind of funny. We'll end it on a happy note. So I'm down, and I told you I was living behind Family Video. Right next to it's Little Caesars, and right next to that is a vacant business that's been vacant since the whole time I ever lived in Springfield. It's probably vacant right now. I would sit next to Little Caesars, so I wouldn't be fucking with their traffic coming in and out the door. People would still walk over and hand me pizzas and hand me money and hand me pizza when I had pizza on my lap. That seriously has happened. I had a brand new pizza on my lap and someone came out and gave me pizza. Another time I had a brand new pizza on my lap and someone came out and said, someone walked up to me on the way in and said, "Would you like a pizza, sir?" And I just like didn't even say anything. I held it up and was like, And then they go, what, would you like some money then? Oh, well, yeah, money would help. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
thank you very much. I appreciate that money because I run across the gas station to get a couple tall boys for $5. Anyway, so I was sitting over there on the corner. It's getting dark, but I was reading under those lights because overhang. I told you in the back there was an overhang on the front with lights, lights, and I was laying on my side reading my book. And it was getting later. It was getting dark, and here comes this cop car. Well, it ends up 2 cop cars, of course, because I'm dangerous.
Yeah, so
actually, if you do look up my record, whenever I get booked in, and it says on the booking sheet that I'm a career criminal. I'm a career criminal, folks. Anyways, so they roll up 2 cop cars, and there's 2 in each car, right? So Big Chief, I think he was a sergeant, he walks up, and I pull up a cigarette out, and drag my lighter up, and I go to like this, I move my lighter up like that, but not quite to my mouth yet. That motherfucker smacked that cigarette right out of my mouth, man. Didn't smack my face, smacked it right out of my mouth. And I set my lighter on the ground. He puts his foot on it, kicks it behind him off the concrete, grates it across the concrete onto the grass, right? And I said, "No, what the hell did you do that for?" And he says, "Because I didn't want to smell it." So quick as that. I said, "Well, I didn't want to smell. I didn't want to smell pork, but I don't have any choice now, do I?" And he goes, "Oh, you don't have to be like that." Well, this comes from the asshole that smacked the cigarette out of my mouth and saying instead of saying, "Please don't light that. I don't want to smell it. Can you sit the cigarette down? You can have that when we're done."
He smacked this straight in your head.
That's the same night though. That cop, they were taking me to jail. They were gonna write me up for sleeping and trespassing, but I wasn't. They took me to jail for something stupid, like they always do. And anyways, so another inconvenience to my life. Got to track my ass all the way back down from the north side and hope my shit's still there. 5 times when I was homeless, I lost every single thing except the clothing I was wearing and my day pack. 5 times. And one time the county threw everything away. Cleaned my bobcat. It came in with a bobcat, cleaned my whole campsite out. Cleaned it. There was bobcat tracks. There was nothing left but a pull top from a Chef Boyardee can to let me know where my campsite was. There was a clear spot with a pull top from a Chef Boyardee can. So anyways, this cop, he kicks my fucking... I was like, I didn't want to smell pork, but I don't have a choice in that either. And so anyways, they throw me in the back of the car, and I'm not sure if I'm going to jail yet or not. They end up, it's a book and release, or less than 24-hour hold, so book and release. They just kept me for several hours. And I had just bought 3 brand new tall beers, and that was like the last of my money. Oh shit, hit low power. Oh shit, hit close. I don't know how long that's been on.
Sorry.
Folks. Sorry, it was a low battery. I thought we had it on charger, but
you didn't hit the power button.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
My bad.
Sorry.
Technology. I'm not big with it.
Somebody's coming in. Or
Yeah, it's us for, I think that's the
Greyhound.
Anyways. So this cop, I'm sitting in the back of the car, right? And this other cop comes up, and he's got my backpack, He's like, "What do you want me to do with this?" And I'm like, "Well," I said, "It's evident, you can take it in with me because I don't want to lose my backpack." But I said, "There's these 3 beers I just bought, man." I said, "That was the last money I had." I said, "Oh, come on," I said, "Is there anything you could do?" Because I said, as soon as I go to Greene County Jail, they throw that shit away automatically, like they throw your lighters away,
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'll see what I can do." He was not being a dick cop. He was a cool cop,
Yeah.
So he comes back, I'm in the back of the car, he comes back about 5 minutes later and says, "I want you to behind that big electric green box back there in the corner of the property," he said, "I stacked your beers up back there. I can't guarantee they'll be there in the morning. But I said, I put them back there for you." And sure enough, man, I got out of jail, worked my way back on the buses and all that, got that side of town again. Because that isn't a pain in the ass, if anything, to get back from jail back to the southwest side of town. 2 buses, if you got money. Anyways.
Wow, 2 hours.
So when I came in the morning, they were there.
No
My beers
shit.
were stacked up and they were still cold from being overnight, man. I was a happy boy. Got out of jail, going through the jitters, going through the shakes. Already
Yeah.
had it starting, already had the DTs, and put them right off, man. And
Damn.
on to another great drunken day, Groundhog Land. Groundhog Day every day. Just when you wake up and you drink until you pass out, and then you wake up and you drink till you pass out. We got to make money in between.
Yeah.
Can't forget that. But it's Groundhog Day. So is that about it, or?
Yeah, let's call it.
Okay, we're gonna call it a night, folks. Sorry we ran so long.
Yes, sorry.
Might have to split this one up in half. If I do, I apologize for that. Again, this was more fun, and I will address some more of the issues again on addiction, and again how I recovered. And I didn't make a video. I'm going to try to make a small little addendum to my video, and when I talk about Vivitrol and the medicine naltrexone, the pill form, I neglected to say that naltrexone is taken before you're ever taking the shot of Vivitrol, because you have to test if you're allergic for the drug. And so you take naltrexone for 5 days or so, and then if you're not allergic, they give you the shot, because once that's in your system, it doesn't come out. It's 30 days or that's it. So that's a note on that, and I'm going to try, add a little note on the second video I made. We'll address that, but that's to let you know, naltrexone is taken before you take Vivitrol to keep you from drinking, but also a test to see if you're allergic to the Vivitrol medication. They're the same class of medication. They are the same medication. They're just in a different form.
And also,
Okay.
you want to do videos. He's fixing to do videos for the homeless too, the show.
Yeah, we're gonna go out or I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna talk to some homeless people on the street,
Show you how it
interview
is.
some of them and show you what real life is for, and actual homeless people in that situation currently, and we'll meet them and see that they're real people, and see that they're worth talking to, and that they have hopes and dreams. And then in one of these episodes up soon, we're going to address the issue of homeless people and dogs, or homeless people with pets.
Yes.
It usually is a dog.
Yeah.
And it's a very controversial subject, and I'm very pro a homeless person having a dog if they take care of that dog, because sometimes that dog is the only person that person has in their life. That's the only person or thing that loves them unconditionally and will be there for them. Like my dog. We'll talk about my dog, my emotional support dog, Georgia, in the future too. But we got to cut it tonight. And then Eric's been hammering on me for this like and subscribe shit.
Yes.
So why
Like
don't you
and
tell me
subscribe.
about that?
Like and subscribe if you want to hear his biography or any stories. But like and subscribe.
Okay, if you want to hear more of this, you can also tell me in your comments. We're tired of hearing this bullshit back and forth between you and him, but if you like the stories, they're also informative and enlightening as to what happens to homeless people on a general day-to-day basis. This was my life. This is no bullshit. You can go on MissouriCase.net and look up my cases. You can go on Greene County's jailhouse website, for Greene County Jail, Springfield, Missouri, and you can find plenty of pictures of me getting booked into jail, and it's not fake. If you can even get a hold of my caseworkers, Linda Hammer over at Burl here in Springfield. She was a first caseworker that ran into me on the street and really got me in the right direction. It was not her that got me off the street, but she helped me quite a lot, and Burl did help me a lot in this city. Their whole program, the rehabs and everything. I've been in rehab, 5 times, 6 times, I can't remember anymore. Psych ward, 12 plus. And jail, no, we're not counting that. So we're gonna sign off.
Yes.
Like and subscribe and hit the bells. Unless
Yes.
it's some sort of bell.
Yeah, bell.
Anyways, that shows you I was
notification.
born in '70, and even though we had Apple computers in 1984 in my junior high school, and we had to boot DOS,
You're old.
I did not keep up with computers.
Jeez.
Obviously, technology is not my thing.
So this is gonna be raw footage, just in case.
Okay, this
too.
is raw video. So yeah, go ahead, turn that shit
All right.
off.
Have a good one.
Peace.